I'm kind of bummed we didn't get you dancing this time, dude.
Almost. It was close.
Like, where's that at? Where's the I'm gonna have to come up with better music if I want you to get those dance moves on, I guess, dude. We'll get him. We'll get him. Hello, everybody.
Times. How's it going?
Oh, man. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. This has been an awesome week of lives. I'm loving it.
Oh yeah, all about it. All about it, man. So,
how are you doing?
Well, it feels like Friday, but it's not. Not necessarily in a bad way. Like, not in the like, man, I wish it was Friday, but just like, it's been so, the week's been so busy. I've gotten so much done. Every single one of our previous podcasts is now uploaded in the library. That was like, I'm not exaggerating, probably 30 hours of work this week. And we're only on Thursday. So, and that's on top of doing this and all the other things that are going on. So,
yeah.
It's been a long week, dude. But I don't know, man. These fine folks that are here today are making it all worth it, right?
Hell yeah.
So if you would, guys,
let's
we're
hear
here to
where
answer
everybody's
questions.
at.
Yeah, where are you at? Where are you guys at? And who's in the house? Who's been here all week so far? I'm curious if there's been anybody that's been here all week.
I know there's been a few.
Yeah.
I know there's been a few.
So, welcome to Dillon and the Doc. It's a show where relationship meets recovery. We talk about what it's like to have addiction, what it's like to overcome addiction.
Relationships.
This guy, man, it's backwards today. So now my fingers are all
It is. We're on separate sides for some reason.
Sides, so it's different. But yeah, this guy covers relationship stuff. I'm the recovery guy. Yeah, there you go. It's like, wait a minute. So anyways, enough of the antics. We take your questions live on the air and help you get through whatever you're struggling about.
Jacqueline, we got Leah in here.
We've had Leah in
We've
here.
got a few. I think Leah's been here most of the week.
Yeah. I think
Jacqueline, so. I've seen her most of the week.
Awesome. Nice to see you too. So, yeah, it's your turn today.
It's my turn. My turn to go out.
Your turn to you're going to lead the races today. It's your turn.
Hey, I am Dr. Ryan. I'm founder of the Relationship Hub. I have experience in interpersonal communication and relationship development. So I'm here to tell you everything I can, give you all the knowledge I can on relationships, help you build a solid foundation in a relationship and show you that relationships can be fixed. And it's not that, it's a lot of work, but it's not that difficult of a process once you get going.
I like that. You're like bracing us to let us know that it may not be easy, but that it's doable.
It takes a lot of work, but it's totally doable and it's worth it. Like we've talked about before, man, your relationship is the biggest investment you have in life.
Yeah. Next to the relationship you have with yourself. Okay.
Next to it. Yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I don't want to confuse anyone in the audience. I know you know that. I know we know that, but wanted everyone else to know that.
Yeah. So who are you?
Some days I don't know. That's a pretty deep question for this late at night. My name is Dillon Reed. I'm a professional recovery coach. I take people from the miserable state of being addicted to alcohol and take them to the dream state where they want to go, which is thriving in sobriety, like myself. Not to toot my own horn, but years ago, I was miserable, waking up every morning with the shakes, getting rid of the shakes by drinking, and kind of just stumbling through the day. It's not a way to live a life. It's just like a way to inch closer to death. So I help bring you back to life. You're going to have to do the work, though. I mean, I got a lot of tools that I'll pull out of my toolbox that I can get to you, but you got to do the heavy lifting. So that's me bracing you for impact in the same way that Ryan was. about the relationships. So now you know.
Yeah.
I don't have a pill I can send you in the mail. I don't have the right words to tell you. I mean, I have the right words. They're just different for every person, so I can't just give you some words and there you go on your
Yeah,
merry
and
little way.
man, the big thing, they're not always the words you want to hear.
Oh, they're always never the word. They are always never the God, that sense I don't
What?
like. They are always never the words you want to hear. Okay.
Yeah.
My brain was like, this is double hyperbolic. I don't know how I feel about this. Doug, what's going on, Doug? Yeah, are you sure? I don't know. Sure about what? I'm not sure at this point what we're supposed to be sure about. So I can't answer that question. So we take your questions live on the air. It is our favorite thing to do. I'm speaking for him because we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But I know that this guy right here, I used the right finger.
You got it. You got it.
This guy right here, he and I really, really love doing these live shows. It's like really invigorating. It's 10 o'clock at night here in Dallas, Texas. I would normally be in bed, and I'm like ready to rock. So there's something to be said about this energy. So,
Yeah.
if you have questions about relationships, questions about recovery, and it doesn't have to be recovery. I mean, you could be drinking and have questions. That's usually when we have them, right? So
Yeah.
feel free to drop whatever questions you have in the comments, and we'll answer them right here tonight. Help
And
you out.
even the intersections, I mean, we have so many people from both your page and my page. I hope they see that the intersections of relationships and sobriety are crazy. And I've got actually some things I want to talk about today when we get into it. Some false beliefs people have, but also some fun facts about relationships. So
Aren't
can
they all
y'all
fun
see
facts?
how the relationship between sobriety and relationships, the relationship between relationships and sobriety works?
What's
If
with the weird
so,
words, the sentences today, man?
if so, drop a yes in the comments. Let's hear what you're working with.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You understand the complicated nature of sobriety and relationships and how they cross over with one another. Let us know. That being said, we got a tough crowd tonight so far.
So far, yeah, it's a rough one. Thank you, Leah and Jacqueline and Doug, for getting in there. We appreciate it.
Keeping us alive over here. So anyways, we always have leftover questions. I have never been on a show with Ryan yet, which means he's never been on a show with me yet. And we've been able to get through all the questions.
Yeah.
It's not possible. They're usually too complex to really get through all of them all the time.
I may drink a bit too much. What do you say is too much?
Well, I think you just answered your own question there, Doug. Generally, my thoughts, and I'm not laughing at you, man. I'm laughing at me. I want to make that clear to anybody that's ever watching us. If I ever crack up about a comment someone makes, I'm laughing at this previous version of myself that is reignited in my brain. It's like I can think back to when I was going, man, I wonder if I drink too much. And that was the day I started drinking too much. It's like as soon as we're thinking that maybe there's a problem in the relationship that we have with alcohol, much like the relationship we have with our partner, as soon as you think there's a problem, yeah, it probably is. You might be a little past that part actually at that point once you actually have the awareness. But yeah. So
yeah, I like that. Once, like in your relationship, when you think there's something going on, there is something going on. Because if you voice it to your partner, they're going to you two should be in tune enough to be able to be like, yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing.
yeah.
Like, yeah, there is something weird in the air, something happening.
What do we got here? I drink 72 beers a week.
Can you give me advice on getting to 18 a week?
Man, so
I kind of like these cutting back ones because I like to hear your stance on the cutting back.
So
because you are sobriety. It should be all or nothing.
Yeah.
But you also advocate for people who want to cut back.
Totally. Yeah. Cause I mean, I always tell my kids that I have a nav screen in my car and my kids know what it does whenever we're going somewhere. So they frequently will tell me I'm going the wrong way. Like if I take a different route.
Oh yeah.
And I explain to them that in life, there is no wrong way. There's just a long way. So to me, in some respects, the cutting back, moderation towards sobriety thing is taking the long way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like you can take a scenic hike, man. Like there's no reason to rush somewhere. if you think it will still get you the same destination, ideally, I'll
Yeah.
tell somebody that wants to be a client if they're like, I want to get to moderation. I'm like, sorry, this won't work. But Jim, so my thing is, I'm not a doctor, and cutting back can be dangerous. I want to make that abundantly clear right here, right now. So if you need to get your physician involved, and you probably should, let them know what your plan is. But the way you would scale back is methodically. 72 turns into, what is that? You got about 10 beers a night, almost a 12-pack a night.
Yeah,
Then you,
72 divided into 12.
yeah, start just cranking it back a little bit at a time. So instead of having 10 in a night, you're having 9 in a night, then you're having 8 in a night, and then 7. So keep on going down.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not a doctor. That's what physicians are for. My advice is to talk to your doctor and take the shorter route, which is there are cool prescriptions you can take that'll make your life not a nightmare when it comes to that. And kind of, it won't be exactly cold turkey, but it'll be a lot easier than trying to scale back. So,
What would you say if somebody said, "Hey, I'm trying to cut back. What do you think about maybe I only allow myself to have a few beers between the time I get off work and 7 p.m. So 5 to 7 p.m."
so then I usually I see like a race. I see people go down with like a race where it's like, if they give themselves a time limit, then they drink more beers.
Oh, I got what
Does
you're
that make
saying.
sense? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, if I can only drink during happy hour, I drink
Yeah.
like it's during happy hour. I
Yeah.
pound them down, right? So that's the concern I always have. And then that also goes back to the habit thing that we're always talking about. Because really what we're fighting here, beyond the substance, beyond the chemical
Mhm.
addiction, is the habit. So you're still, unfortunately, you're pushing that habit lever when you say, well, I can only drink from 4 to 6. So then what are you going to do? You're going to drink from 4 to 6 every single night. Like, so you gotta break that habit. Um, Jim, I hope that's helpful. If you got any other questions, let us know. Um, what do we got here, Doug?
Does 6 beers a night make me an alcoholic?
Do you want my answer? um, okay. Per the DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for like the psychiatric therapy counseling world, more than 3 drinks on a night would put you in the category of having alcohol use disorder. So,
Science aside, what's your answer? Because I'll give you the answer I would tell one of my clients in their relationship because I'm not sobriety related.
right.
Yeah.
Science aside, I would say yes. I mean, if it was just me talking to somebody, like 6 beers isn't healthy. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing healthy about the relationship you have with alcohol when you're drinking a sixer a night. That's just
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been the sixer a night guy.
Yeah.
And you're not functioning. No, you can't drink 6 beers in a night and be functional. So
No.
then you're just not taking part in life, which is
Yeah.
unhealthy. So there's my take on it. What you got?
Yeah. If somebody came to me and it was having an effect on their relationship, which we know it will,
Yeah.
I would say if you're having 6 beers a night habitually and it's also in your mind that you might be an alcoholic, I think you've already called yourself out.
Yeah. 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 That's my take on it. So, do you want to hit on any of the questions that we've got loaded in the barrel? And
Yeah.
hey, Jim, Doug, thank you guys for your
Yeah.
questions. We appreciate it.
I think this goes kind of in line with what they're talking about. This is a good one. You
What do
ready
you
for
got?
one of yours?
I guess
How do we disclose about getting sober in the morning, in the beginning,
in the morning.
in the
Well,
morning,
I mean,
in the beginning?
depends on how hungover you are. In the beginning, well, so this is like a dealer's choice kind of deal here.
Mhm.
Um, there's really two avenues that we take when we're talking about disclosure when we're trying to get sober. One of them is we create a level of social accountability. So that's a pretty good route to take. We burn the boats, burn the ships, burn the bridges, whatever you want to call it. blast it on social media that you're trying to get sober. Let your parents know, let your spouse know, let your siblings know, let everybody know that your plan is to get sober. Ideally, then those people don't invite you out to drinks. And if you call them and you want to have drinks with them, they don't want to go out with you.
Yeah.
That's one of the aspects. The other one though is that for some people that will lead into a relapse. This additional pressure of telling everybody, and then
Yeah.
those people need to keep it to themselves. So there's science in both directions. That's why I say there's kind of like there's two schools of thought. One of
Hmm.
them is that when you tell somebody, and this has been proven, when you tell somebody that you're going to do something,
Yeah.
your mind doesn't know any different. So you think you've already achieved that goal. So if you're
Gotcha.
like, oh, I'm going to get sober, then the
Hmm.
motivation to maintain sobriety dwindles. So for some people, that's a problem, right? Um, so that would be how I would do it. Um, I always suggest the social accountability thing because we need
Yeah.
a social safety net. We're social creatures. We're connected. Um, it's not best to work in the dark. I don't care what anybody says. We need people. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. I like that. I
Yeah.
like disclosing it for social accountability type deals. Really, you're disclosing it for your own safety.
That's honestly it. If you don't let people know that you need help, they can't help you.
Yeah.
Like, for males, it's particularly problematic because we don't want to admit we have a problem, anyways. That's why the people that are normally asking me, hey, do you think I'm an alcoholic, are guys. It's almost never a woman that I have that's like, hey, do you think I have a drinking problem? Like, they've already come to terms with it.
Yeah.
Guys, we're like not allowed to. Like, we're
Yeah.
supposed to be able to drink people under the table. And if you can't, you're a wimp or something like that, right?
Hmm.
Um, so there's that whole deal right there. You think I answered that sufficiently?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it. I really like the way that went. And on the other side, I was trying to think how to disclose it, kind of on the same thing, how to disclose that you might have a problem to your significant other, because I'm wondering like how difficult that was for you, because I'm sure I'm guessing, I'm gonna
What do
assume
you think
here.
she already knew? You think she already knew?
I'm gonna assume that she knew and that she had mentioned it to you,
Oh, for sure. Um,
but that you weren't ready to admit it yourself because it's a pride thing.
yeah, I mean, I think you nailed something that's really interesting is that frequently disclosure isn't disclosure, it's acceptance.
Yeah,
Because the people around, like, I don't care how cool and smooth we think we are, like, alcohol smells.
yeah,
It smells. You drink it the night before, you smell like it in the morning. I don't care if you took a shower, brush your teeth, whatever, right? Um, so we're not really fooling anybody. People will let us get away with it
yeah,
until it becomes a problem for them. And then they say things. So when someone's told you that you've got a problem drinking, then you really do
yeah.
because your problems then become their problem or they wouldn't say anything about it. So,
I like how you
um,
said that disclose when you disclose it, you've reached a level of acceptance.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you're also right, it's that pride thing. It's saying, yeah, you're right. When you don't want them to be right, or you don't, I don't even know how to put it. It's like it's the pride. I don't want to accept this because once I do, you're right and I'm wrong.
Well, there's like a level of admitting defeat,
And it,
right?
it becomes that embarrassing, right? We talked
Exactly.
about embarrassment last night. I'm
Yep.
embarrassed for my actions in that I didn't listen to you.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of unpacking that can be done around that
Mhm.
area. But
Yeah.
for sure, I mean, for me, I didn't like the idea that an inanimate object was besting me because nothing's ever, I mean, I don't mean to sound like, like all
Yeah.
about myself, but I've never really lost things except
Mhm.
alcohol, not really lost a fist fight or anything like that. But alcohol was beating me up every night and I couldn't best it. So it
Yeah.
was super hard to be like, yeah, turns out I've got a problem.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's that deal. Real quick, for those of you that are just popping in, that is Dr. Ryan. He is a relationship expert. If you have relationship questions, he's here to take them tonight. My name is Dillon Reed, and I'm a recovery coach. And if you've got questions about your drinking issues or your conquering your drinking issues, anything drinking related, let me know. Habits
Yeah.
are my thing. Addiction's my thing. Um, we got any new questions coming
Yeah,
in?
we do hear from I'm gonna throw one up from Doug. He said, I smoked for 25 years and quit, no problem. Why is it so hard to quit drinking?
Because smoking doesn't get you on that level, that dopamine. It's the
Yeah,
dopamine thing is really what it comes down to. Um, and we actually live in a weird point where like people will give you crap for smoking and
mhm,
people don't really give you crap for drinking. So there's that level of it too.
yeah,
It's more socially acceptable to drink than it is to smoke.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, I hear you. It is, I deal with people that have quit doing meth, they've quit doing heroin, they've quit doing fentanyl, they've quit doing any, you name it, they've quit it. And they're coming to me to coach them to quit alcohol. So it's just this really interesting thing. But yeah, it has to do with the fact that it's readily available, depending on your jurisdiction in a gas station,
yeah.
wherever you go. And it hits that dopamine switch. Like the easiest way to understand it is when you drink alcohol, your brain thinks that you found water or food or a mate.
Yeah,
So it's like the pinnacle of your day whenever you
yeah.
drink. So it's pretty hard to, I
Plus
mean, that's what it's
plus
about.
it's like it's a social stimulus. It lowers your inhibitions.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh
it
yeah.
does it does certain things for you that smoking cannot.
Totally. Totally. We got any other questions are coming in?
We got some statements from Jacqueline and Leah.
Let's pop up those so everybody can see what we got going on.
All right, Jacqueline, I'll read the rest of it to you.
Oh, we got it all.
I've never
Sweet.
told my family and friends that I've been sober for over a year in fear of I may fail, and I don't want them to think badly of me if I do relapse.
Yep.
And then she goes on to say, other than her spouse and daughter, who were the ones who took her to rehab a year ago.
Yep. Yeah, I totally can identify with that. Um, that's part of when I talked earlier about how you either take the social accountability route or you have to kind of work in the dark. This is a prime example of when working in the dark, it can be the best. I mean, she did tell some people, right?
Mhm.
There,
Yeah,
there was some
yeah,
disclosure, but there's no large public disclosure
yeah.
because it would pose a threat. So that makes sense. Um, what do we got? I'll get Leo's up there.
But hold on, don't you think that that fear of failure kind of drives people to maintain it sometimes?
So it can. The science behind it when it comes to what motivates people, we're
Mhm.
way more motivated. So fear is like a pushing and success is like a pulling, like the failure versus success kind of concept. Fear obviously is a failure related thing.
Yeah.
Um, it's easier to pull people than to push people kind of
Oh,
concept.
yeah.
Um, fear's just not a good motivator. Like think about it like this. It takes quite a bit of physical violence to get people to do exactly what you want them to do.
Uh-huh.
Whereas you could like give them some money and they'll do something pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of where it comes down to. Does that make
But like
sense to you?
yeah, but like the fear of failure. I'm one I thrive on that. That's not like that's something I will hammer at something on and on and on because I do not want to fail at it.
Yeah, yeah,
I will I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that that goal is achieved.
totally, totally. And well, and
So I guess that's where I was coming at it from, kind of because it sounds like it's more of a fear of a failure. Uh,
no, no, no. I mean, it makes sense. I'm just saying that um, fear motivates less people
oh, okay,
than
gotcha.
the opposite. Does that make
Yeah,
sense now?
yeah, yeah,
Because I mean, it totally works. I'm kind of the same way. Like I just don't like to lose. I
yeah,
don't like to lose because then I have to admit defeat, which in my head is a failure, right?
yeah.
Which I also want to point out, I have spent a lot of time correcting that. Like I'm not perfect, but that is a very fixed mindset to be in,
Mhm.
very binary win or loss thing. And there's been a lot of cool opportunities in my life that I've avoided because I didn't know if I was going to be able to like make a 3-pointer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, um, even though I still do, fear does motivate me quite a bit. It's healthy to try to get away from that if at all
yeah.
possible. Um, And I'm not
Nice.
knocking you being motivated by fear, right? I'm just saying.
Like it does. I'm super goal oriented all through grad school, everything. I remember there came a point, it was a crossroads in life. And I don't know if anybody's ever been at an actual crossroads in life where it was like, I either do this or I do this. I don't have another way. And at that point, I was year 3 or year 2. So I was getting ready to um, take my comprehensive exams. And if nobody's done that, it's awful. Or maybe I was right after. Maybe it was right after, but I had these 2 choices, and I actually had to go to the park by the university, and I sat on a bench. I remember it so clear. I sat there and I talked to myself out loud. I said, "Listen, you've got 2 choices. You can quit right now, pack all your stuff up, figure life out from there, or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can finish what you've started. You can finish this decade-long journey you've been on. You've got 2 years left, a year left. But today, right now, you have to make a decision." And it was that crossroads that, because I am so goal oriented, I was like, I can't give up.
Yeah, yeah.
I've so many people have supported me. I've put so much work and effort into even getting this close to a doctorate degree
Yeah,
that I would I would regret that decision for the rest of my life. It would be a huge what if.
totally.
What if? And I can't live with what ifs. I don't like it.
Not a
Like,
fan.
I'm gonna see it to the end. If I fail, that's fine. I can learn from that.
Totally. Totally. But you can't learn from something you didn't do at
You
all.
can't learn from something you
I
didn't
want to,
try. No.
I don't know if we had any questions come in, but I want to do this real quick.
Yeah.
Jeff, I just would like to say congratulations on 10
Yeah.
months. That's a really big deal. Um, apologize to anybody that asked questions first, but I'm always going to celebrate victories. They're going to always be celebrated before I take questions. It's just reality. So, um, we got any questions we want to throw
Yeah.
in?
Right here, this one where we're gonna get to.
There we go.
So we're still on this. I did reach out when I went to rehab. Then when I relapsed, I felt terrible shame. How do I tell my loved ones I fell off the wagon?
Well, you tell them. That's not very helpful, but that's part of it. You have to, at that point, you have to disclose. Your loved ones can't help you if you don't tell them. The shame will only grow worse the longer that we keep it a secret, and it will become more difficult to disclose. Like, I mean, because you're every day you don't tell them, you're lying to them at some level. Well, a lie by omission, right?
Yeah.
And the more you sweep it under the rug, the more you'd never want to pull it out. And then that's the kind of stuff that keeps people stuck drinking forever,
Yeah.
you know? And I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you're at with your family. I don't know what their thoughts are on your drinking. I don't know what kind of bridges you burned or any of that stuff. I don't know how they're going to take it. So it's difficult with just this to put it
Yeah.
into context about how to maybe approach that.
Hmm.
But putting it off is only making it worse for you.
Yeah.
Um, anything you'd add?
There is actually.
Good.
So
Good.
I would say one, Dylan's spot on. Agree with that 100%. The only caveat I would put to that is when you tell them, do not make excuses for it.
I like that. Yeah.
Tell them straight up. So when you tell them, hey, I feel, right, use the I statements, the feel. I feel like there's something I need to tell you. The situation happened. Um, I relapsed and I'm feeling a ton of shame around this. What you don't want to do is say, I relapsed, but I was under a lot of stress.
Yeah. But
Or,
here's my excuse for my poor
yeah, yeah,
behavior.
yeah, here's my excuse. Don't excuse it anyway. Just 100% own it. Tell them how you feel and tell them how you're going to rectify it. And rectify it. Take every opportunity to rectify the wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes perfect sense. We got a problem over here on my end, bud.
Do you? What's up?
I don't know. I have like my screen went all magnifier and I don't know what's going down. Oh well, we'll limp through it, dude. We'll limp through it.
Your
I'm not
screen
giving
went
up.
magnifier.
Yeah, I'm not one to give up, so I'll
All right,
figure out how to
I got it.
survive it.
Then Kathy says, man, it's hard to admit when you repeat the behavior. Wise people to share with only. Um, it is super hard for anything.
Sorry.
I
Yeah.
mean, that is what becoming a trustworthy individual is learning from your mistakes and taking care not to repeat them again. And I think that's kind of why it's so hard to admit when you repeat the same behavior over and over, whether it's drinking, whether it's um, something negative you're doing in the relationship, yelling or being condescending or rolling your eyes or anything,
Yeah.
right? You can only
Yeah.
say sorry so many times without changing the behavior.
Yeah, totally. At some point sorry doesn't count
Yeah.
anymore. It's just a useless platitude, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I mean that's the worst part because it's at its core, even in the relationship, bad habits that cause problems in relationships. Like a habit can be a lack of an action. You're in the habitual action of not kissing your wife as you go to work, or not telling her to have a good day, or all those
Yeah.
things. They're all habits, um,
Hmm.
which is a repeated behavior. So it doesn't matter where you're at in life. It's the things that you repeatedly do that make up your character, like they say, right?
100%. Yeah. Um, do you have any
Didn't
other?
we?
Did we have something else?
Well, we did this one already, Doug. We did handle the advice on cutting down on drinking. Talk to your doctor first, and then just methodically approach it. One less beer for a couple days, then one less beer for a couple days, one less beer for a couple days, kind of deal. Um, I didn't want to leave that completely out there.
Yeah.
Well, I think I would like you to take some of the questions that we didn't get to,
Okay.
some of yours, um, like some
Yeah.
of the what is it? Some of the false beliefs and that kind of stuff. I'd like to hear some of that stuff if that's
Yeah.
cool with you, if you want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. 100%. I'd like to talk through some of these false beliefs also. So, false beliefs about um, fixing relationships. One, once the relationship is fixed, it will be perfect forever. Thought this was fitting to bring up now because you can say the same thing. Once I get sober, I'll be sober forever.
Yeah, yeah,
Once I fix it, I'll be sober forever. Once I fix the relationship, it will be fixed forever. No, 100% false. You are always going to run into hurdles. You are always going to have conflicts. You are constantly changing. Your partner's constantly changing. The relationship, therefore, is changing. So just because you fix something, and also you don't fix an entire relationship. There's really no such thing as fixing a whole relationship because relationships are so large when you think about it. You're
yeah,
talking about two individuals who are constantly growing, the family's growing. Um, there's finances involved, there's careers involved, there is intimacy involved, there are boundaries, there are maintenance, there are all sorts of things. So you learn the tools to approach problems as they arise in the relationship.
yeah,
And yeah, so it's, man, your relationship is a lifelong project and a lifelong investment. You're either in it for the long haul and you're in it to win it, or you're not.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear
You
that.
got to fight for that thing.
Well, and I mean, sobriety is kind of the same way. There's like a really hot button concept about relapses.
Hmm.
Um, And I've kind of expressed mine a little bit about how eventually it does become a choice. We've decided that we're not going to maintain it in the same way that we could do that with a relationship with a spouse. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not doing the work anymore to make this work. And, well, you're going to have negative consequences. That's
Yeah.
just the way that things go. Um, so you got to do the same thing in your sobriety. You can't, that doesn't mean you have to go to a meeting every day or even every week, but it
Yeah.
means that you need to be doing things in your life that continue to rebuild the foundation for growth, because ultimately growth is the thing that's going to keep you sober,
Yeah.
long term, is continually growing. Because, man, dopamine it's the thing of motivation. It's not about reward, it's about motivation. We don't get the dopamine when we cross the bridge, we get it as we're crossing it. So um, keep doing that. Keep having goals, setting goals, excelling and surpassing your goals. But stay sober forever. I promise you. Like, that's just the reality.
Man, have you
So
seen the research on the ice baths and the dopamine increases, the spikes in dopamine from it?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
forever going to be a proponent because I got the one. Man, it feels like it. Not gonna lie, it sucks getting in at first,
yeah,
and sitting there isn't bad. Like once you're in, it's a little cold, a little uncomfortable, but once you get out, you feel elated. You feel so good.
dude. Have you
Like it
tried it
feels,
with your eyes closed yet? Have
huh?
you tried it with your eyes closed yet?
Huh?
Dude, close your eyes as you're getting in, or if with cold shower, however you want to do it. Like, you can brace for impact mentally in a way that you cannot once you take the sense of being able to know that you're getting into it. It's wild, dude. It's like
Really?
another level. I'm just saying. You should
Really?
give it a shot. I don't know how you do it so much with that kind of ice bath, like cryo chamber type stuff. It works because you can close your eyes before everything gets cold. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can't like have some sort of sense to let you know, like, hey, it's about to get cold. It's a whole nother level, dude.
Dude, I'm gonna
Um,
try it.
yeah, you should.
But
You
I
should.
I I really enjoy it. It feels so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would suggest anybody who is getting sober to try an ice bath.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can read that exact. Dopamine Nation is
Dopamine
the
Nation.
title.
Okay.
Is the title of this book.
Okay.
One of my favorites, actually. That's why it's right here. I review it frequently. There's a guy in it who, like, was a cocaine addict, and then dopamine ends up like being his Jimmy Jam, and
Okay.
he gets it. Well, I mean, it already was, or he wouldn't have been doing cocaine, but he's getting it through ice baths. But he takes it to like a whole nother level, like getting scientific about it, like creating like cooling elements, like taking stuff out of like freezers and adding it to like this bathtub. Like
Uh-huh.
it's pretty extreme. Which he then recognizes, and his therapist recognizes, like, me, that's a little bit of a problem too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, it sounds far less problematic than cocaine. Just throwing that out there. Um,
Yeah.
just saying, it's
Yeah.
like when people get on me like, don't you feel like you replaced drinking with exercise? Why, yes, sir, I did. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Um, it's not a big deal. It
Like,
hasn't caused my health to decline. It'll be
why would
okay.
that be a problem?
Dude, because there's just these crazy people out there. I'm sorry. I don't mean crazy derogatorily. I know it sounds like I did, and I probably did in that instant, but um, there are people that think that somehow to get sober, to like truly be sober or something. I don't know what's going through their head, but you have to like remove a habit or an addiction and replace it with nothing. Like, it's
Oh.
not a thing, not a thing that exists, but it's like they'll get on you. Well, you're eating more sweets. Yeah, I am eating more sweets right now. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
season of life. Leave me alone. I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Um, drinking's the weirdest one. It's such a strange thing. I mean, we might get to another question that kind of ties into this later, but um, yeah, man. Thank you for sharing the false beliefs.
Yeah.
Um,
I got one more for you. Ready?
yeah, give me one
This
second first, though.
yeah.
Um, this guy right here is a professional relationship coach. He is an expert. He is a doctor of relationships, interpersonal communication. if he has advice on relationships, you better heed it because you're getting it for free right now. And I'm a recovery coach. I got 20 years plus drinking, climbed out of that hole, been sober for 3.5 years since then. And I've been guiding a lot of people through that valley too. So if you have
Yeah.
questions about recovery or relationships, dude, this finger thing is bugging me. Um, drop them in the comments and we'll get to them.
Yeah, I like that you said that. Like every night we come on for an hour every time. I don't know what your rates are. I know mine are $200 an hour, so you're getting free advice, ask away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get gold nuggets to just come hang out with us for an hour. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
You know, and trust me, from my own experience, my wife would like definitely give Ryan a hug if she were to see him in person and meet him, just because of the impact it's had on our relationship. So that you would count that for whatever it's worth.
Oh,
So
I appreciate it.
yeah, she was
I
talking about that today. She's like, I can't believe you guys have become friends. Like she didn't even really know the whole story, so I kind of told her, and she was like, "That's so crazy." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." So
yeah,
here we are.
yeah. Hey, you want to take Kathy's? I like it.
We can, man. You want to click it up?
Yeah.
Cue it up. What do we got here?
What is your recommendation for someone intentionally weaning down, still working and finding it harder to negotiate in meetings without feeling offended? Feelings coming out, feeling raw, is this normal?
Yeah, yeah. Your brain is going to be mad at you for not
Yeah.
giving it its happy juice. Like that's a reality. That's part of the reason that I don't recommend weaning down unless you have to, unless like you physically have to navigate a withdrawal potentially.
Uh-huh.
And even then, you've heard me say it a ton of times on the show, like if you can afford a drink, you can afford to go to a doctor, which means you can afford a detox.
Yeah.
You can afford to do an in-home detox. Um, the reason I don't advocate for any sort of weaning or moderation is because that emotional roller coaster that you're dealing with right now will never go away until you get sober. And I can't even promise you it'll go away when you get sober because you have to learn how to ride the roller coaster.
Yeah.
But I can tell you when you're drunk on the roller coaster, you'll never learn how to ride it. So it is totally normal to have super high and super low while you have alcohol in your life. And we're talking even within days to a week
Yeah.
after drinking, where you're still riding it all crazy. So if you want to have a better control of your experience, you have to get sober. You truly do.
Yeah.
May not be the answer you're looking for, but it's the answer you need.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Yeah.
On the same kind of token,
Thank you, Leah.
yeah. On the same kind of token, um
You click it.
ignoring the problem will make it all go away.
Ooh.
So in relationships, no.
Ostrich status. Head in the
Ignoring the
sand.
problem will actually escalate things on a number of levels. One, you've heightened emotions and you're holding on to them. You're increasing resentment. You're going to explode and bring up a bunch of things later. You're just saving it for later. So, ignoring the problem is actually going to be worse for your relationship. Just like, wait, which way? Just like,
I spent a whole episode yesterday figuring out which finger to point which direction, and then today it's backwards.
yeah.
It got me all backwards. Yeah, just like with drinking.
Does
We
ignoring, do you think if your wife would have ignored your problem, do you think it would have gone away as quickly or you would have come to a realization?
Ryan, we call that enabling.
Yeah.
Like it's like it at least like
Well, it's
tacitly.
enabling on the sobriety side. It's creating more problems on the relationship side.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So I mean, no, I mean, Unfortunately, we do this weird thing when we get permission to act poorly, we act more poorly. Like
Yeah.
we have like a blank check to behave even worse in other areas. So
Hmm.
it's not help in my experience, it's not helpful to be in a relationship where like everything's permitted, nothing's off limits. You
Yeah.
know, you drink to excess, treat people poorly, that kind of stuff. Like it just gets worse
Yeah.
because there's no boundaries. Like that's that give them an inch, they take a mile kind of concept.
Hmm.
Does that track?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
100%.
mean, and honestly, when she ignored my drinking, it got worse because in my mind, she gave me permission to drink,
Yeah.
you know, which then actually gave me permission to ignore her. We've talked
Hmm.
about this a little bit on the show about how um, your relationship with alcohol becomes like having a mistress that lives in your house.
Yeah.
You know, you're ignoring the people that live with you in
Hmm.
order to pursue alcohol. So yeah, I mean, that's my take. Is that what you were? I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't care if
Yeah.
it's what you were hoping for. It's what you got.
Yeah.
What you
That's what I
got.
got. That's what
Yeah.
I appreciate. Yeah. I mean, like you said, if I ignore the fact that they are um, using contempt or criticizing, we'll just say criticizing every behavior that I do. They're pointing out all my faults. They're attacking me. They're yelling, which should never be done in the house, by the way. Yelling is a no no. If I just ignore that and don't address it in the right way, it is only, like you said, giving them permission to do it more and more and more. It becomes a really unhealthy balance in the relationship.
Will you write a note down real quick?
Yeah.
Um, I think it'd be really helpful at some point if we talked about how to, because you're talking about like when your partner's being critical of
Yeah.
you, right? Um, we have a- at least implied permission in a relationship
Hmm.
to suggest a correction of behavior.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's this weird thing about narcissism and gaslighting that comes in because of like coffee table science at this point. I
Yeah.
don't want to really discuss that part, but how do you bring it up to your partner about the habits that need to be corrected without crossing that line of being like overly critical? You know, like I'm not saying we take it right now. I'm just saying that a
Yeah.
future segment, I think it would be cool to address that because that's something like I still have troubles navigating sometimes, you
Yeah.
know, on both ways, giving it and receiving it, right? You know, it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm perfect. What are you talking about? Um,
And it's
but
it's it's something you have to catch yourself in. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, I had to catch myself in the midst of an argument to make sure that it didn't escalate. I had to take
yeah,
accountability for my, and we will go into it more later. I had to take extreme accountability for my actions, not ever place blame. And I also had to come at it from a place of empathy and understanding.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
So, yeah,
Doesn't make
uh,
it easy,
there's
but it makes a lot of sense.
there's
Yeah.
like there's I think 9 things you want to look out for.
Okay.
And I can go through them now if you want or later.
Let's go.
Um,
Let's do it after. Like
okay,
maybe like that might actually just be for those of you
it's a
that
big
aren't.
one.
Yeah, for those of you that aren't familiar, we do a show every Friday afternoon that
Mhm.
has regular installment from he or I. We flip flop back and forth. That might be a really good segment if you want to.
Yeah,
I would invite you to or challenge you to do that.
100%. I can
Yeah,
definitely do that. You wanna take Becca?
I do. I do. Um, you want to read it? You want me to read
Yeah, I
it?
quit drinking and smoking cigarettes as of February 24th this year. Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm
Congratulations.
coming up on 5 months in a few days, and in the past couple of weeks, all of a sudden, I've noticed that, quite frankly, I feel like my emotions feel like I'm a teenager all over again. They
Yeah.
hit, and I may cry over something small in excess, and it's completely new to me. After years of alcohol use, is that normal, and does it pass? It's pretty overwhelming and tiring.
Totally normal. I don't know. You told us you quit. How long you've been sober? I don't know how long you drank for. So the amount that you drank and the duration will have an impact on how long it takes your brain to normalize everything out, balance everything out. You know, hormones to come into balance, all that kind of stuff. Um, could be post-acute withdrawal syndrome that you're experiencing at this point. I can say it took me a year or so. I heavily for I drank for about 20 years. I drank heavily for 10, super heavy for 2, and way, 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 way super heavy for a year. But it took me about a year to kind of be able to reel my emotions in. Journal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Get a journal. If you don't have a journal, get a journal. Write down what you're feeling, what's going on when you're feeling it. You'll start to develop a level of self-awareness that makes it easier to, like, we don't want to ignore our emotions. I want to make that clear to everybody. We manage them. We learn how to interact with them in a way that's not destructive to ourselves or the environment around us. Like, it's okay to cry. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we might not want to in a given situation, but we don't want to ignore those emotions. So it's important to understand what's going on. And the easiest way to understand it is to get it outside of our head so that we can analyze it. And I've found that journaling is one of the best ways to do it. And I'm not just saying that because I experience it and do it that way. Science also says that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So
Can
yeah.
I add a few things that some of my clients have found super useful?
Yeah, please. That's why we're here, right?
So one thing is like you were saying, journaling, but like I put them through mood journaling. So a daily journal of their mood, including what they're feeling and why.
I call it
So
emotion log,
yeah, so
but
they
same
reflect
thing.
on any patterns or triggers that they may notice within that.
Yeah.
And emotional mapping. So some people are more visual learners, and so create a visual representation of your emotions. So you can use colors, you can use shapes, you can use symbols, but you just want to represent different emotions and then kind of look and reflect on the patterns and the relationships between your emotions. I have them go through an emotional trigger list of situations or events that trigger emotions, an emotional check-in. So just throughout the day, check in with your emotions, like a self check-in. Think about how you're feeling, kind of think about what might be causing the emotions. And it's just a nice mindful way throughout the day to, it's kind of like I tell them, it's a preemptive strike on your emotions, keeping you kind of one step ahead.
Yeah. 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 I'm all about that because we I don't want to say we rule our emotions because that's not the right way, but it's like we either rule our emotions or our emotions rule us.
Yeah.
We need to really be able to rein them in, or
Hmm.
else, I mean, like, some of the most important decisions we're going to make in life, you don't want to make when you're emotionally compromised.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, it's weird. We have this like Disney concept of like being just like in love and like you're feeling all these emotions, and that's why you make these decisions and stuff. And that's like the worst way to do things. To get to where you probably want to go. So,
Yeah. I like
um,
how you put that. It's like, instead of ruling, I think I would say it's more about recognizing and accepting so
yeah,
that they don't catch you off guard.
totally. Yeah, because you can't. I mean, if you choose not to process an emotion, you will bottle it up and you will do it later.
Yeah.
And that's a lot why Becca's dealing. Maybe why a part of why Becca's dealing with this is you bottled it up for I don't
Hmm.
know however long, but you may have been bottling it up and now it's out and
Yeah.
you're having to deal with it. Um, you think we got that one?
Yeah. 100%.
Cool.
Wellbutrin. Has there been any evidence for those on Wellbutrin, a dopamine agonist is helpful weaning? I'm trying the cold showers. Yikes. Try,
I
try an ice bath. Try that bad boy out.
I can't speak to that. I can speak all day to I can even bring you. I can show you studies from
Hmm.
like NIH and all sorts of stuff about dopamine being a huge factor in addiction and habits. As far as the role of Wellbutrin playing, I I don't know every drug and the way that all drugs to be. I even just learned the other day that they're using in the United Kingdom an analog of Chantix. It's like Champix. It's like the same thing. It's just like a different vendor, kind of like what generics. There we go, something like that. For alcohol, but normally it's a nicotine cessation drug, and they've been using it with alcohol. So it's like really hard for me to keep up with all of the different pharmaceuticals they're using in different ways.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I think I'll probably dig into that a little bit, Kathy, because I'm interested. So I don't know if it would be. I feel like it might be though. It makes sense in my head that it would be useful.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I can't answer that one today, but I will definitely get back to you. Area for more research, and that never makes me mad. So, yeah, trying the cold showers. Yikes! I love that. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing the cold showers for a long time, and I still have days where I'm like, why? Like, why? Like in my head, it'll be like, dude, you just turn the knob just a little bit further to the
Yeah.
left, and everything's chill. Like, why do you want to do that? And I have to go, I don't know. Why are you staying sober? Why do you go to the gym? Why do you eat healthy?
Yeah.
Why do you try to have a good relationship with your wife? Why do you do any of those things? Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, because I get a positive result from the experience. It sucks
Yeah.
immediately. I'm not going to BS you, just like Ryan when he's talking about the ice plunge. It is a brutal moment,
Mm-hmm.
but what you get from, like, I charted it, the amount of content I can produce, the amount I can, and when I say content, I mean that might be videos, it might be writing in my book, it might be working on a course, a blog, anything, right? But the amount of things that I produce since taking cold showers is noticeably different. My focus is there. Yeah, everything about it. So
I like
give it a
it.
shot. It's worth it. Promise you. The
Yeah.
most important things in life are not easy. That's just it. Sorry. And hey, we were taking cold showers. We weren't even taking showers. We were hopping in a cold lake or river or whatever to bathe for way longer than, heated plumbing. So
Oh yeah.
there's that.
Definitely.
So we're pretty much at the top of the hour. Did
We
you
are.
have a short one that you want to get to, or
You want
I
to
want to
hear
start
you
wrapping
want to
up?
hear I'll just go through 5 fun facts on relationships. You want to end
And
it
then
on a high note?
then you promise you'll give us the other 5
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night we'll go through the other 5. I might even do a whole 10. I've got like 20 of them listed out.
Well, I would hope that the relationship coach has more than 5 fun facts about
I mean,
relationships. I hope so.
I can
I
come up
hope
with more
so.
than 20. All
Yeah.
right. This is like, who was that? David Letterman that did the top 10?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. One of those guys.
So this
They're
is
To me, they're all the same in my head. They're all the same guy, but they're not,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Number 1, holding hands with
Drum
someone.
roll, please.
Holding hands with someone you love can actually reduce stress and lower your heart rate. Number 2, couples who laugh together tend to have stronger and happier relationships.
I'll work on that one.
Number 3, studies have shown that cuddling can release oxytocin, which is a hormone associated with bonding and feelings of love.
So hard to do every night, though, man. I don't know how people fall asleep like that in the movies. I'm just saying. Continue.
Well, here's the thing, and I tell all my clients this, it's not that you fall asleep, but you should cuddle every night before you fall asleep.
I got big spoon.
Whether you're big or little, it needs to happen.
It needs to happen. Perfect. Now
All
this is
right.
explicit. I have to make it explicit on the podcast. Great. Continue.
Number 4. Research suggests that couples who travel together are more likely to stay together and have stronger emotional connection.
You just gave me a
And
good excuse to go on vacation. Yeah.
it is. It's a perfect excuse.
Babe, I'm trying to save our marriage. Come on.
And finally, number 5. Kissing someone you love can boost your immune system by transferring bacteria that strengthens your body's defenses.
Bro. I love it, but it's gross, but I love it.
Oh man, if you think kissing is gross,
Of
dude,
4 kids, get out of here.
we need to have a one-on-one.
Chit chat. No, I read this article. I mean, this is way out in left field, but I read this article that was talking about how part of the reason that kids pick and eat their boogers is to boost their immune system. And I was like, and we teach them not to do that. It's something to how the mucus like weakens the viruses or bacteria or whatever, and then they consume it and they build up antibodies and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, that has nothing to do with the topics that we discuss whatsoever. But I took us there. That's what
Dude,
I do.
we just ended a live on big booger picking and eating.
Booger picking and eating, dude. You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. I did what I can. So you heard it here first.
All right. Thank you.
Unless you have COVID.
Yeah, unless you got
Yes.
the Rona.
If you have Rona, probably shouldn't be macking on people, even if it's your spouse, ideally.
No, but you can hold their hand.
You sure about that?
Dude, here's the thing. If you're living in the same house, you're going to get it. So you might as well just get it over with.
We got it. My whole house got it when I was getting back from France, which scared me. I thought I was going to be trapped in France because I was afraid I had it before I got there.
Yeah.
But I got back and my wife had it. She was breastfeeding.
Oh.
And that kid did not get it. Really bizarre. Yeah, really bizarre. And then I got it, and only one of our other kids got it. It was because we only had 3 kids at the time.
Interesting.
It was really weird. I don't know how that works, but
interesting.
Yeah. So, anyways, there you go. Cool. Cold showers help with anxiety. That's what we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Kathy with the lull. There you go. Unless you have COVID, and after you wash with soap and water, we can hold hands. So
we can.
Okay.
Hey,
All
maybe tomorrow we'll just start the episode off with 5 fun facts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I think that's a cool way to start it out.
Yeah.
5 fun facts about relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Anybody, if you're here, you heard it here first. That's how we're gonna start it. So
yeah,
I think that's it, dude. I think that's a wrap.
We're at the top of the hour. We'll I really appreciate everybody that was in here asking questions, giving their thoughts, putting their life out in the comments for us. As always, I want to thank Dillon. This is awesome. And we still have Friday, Saturday, Sunday of
at 10.
live.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of live at this time.
Yeah.
And then next Monday, we'll start lives for another 7 days at an hour before this.
Yep. Appreciate you too, Kathy.
And there will be 2 lives on Friday. Our normal Dillon and the Doc show, which airs every Friday at 2 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Central.
Yeah.
So you get a double dose of us on Friday, tomorrow.
Yeah, Tomorrow's going to be a big day for us.
Yeah.
2 hours alive. I might try to get a nap in at some point. Yeah. So is cool. It's been real today, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been real fun. I think we're going to get out of here though.
Yeah. It's time for bed.
It's bedtime. Catch you guys later.
See ya.